Welcome back. Today's episode we'll be talking about under construction properties and plotted developments. What do you need to keep in mind? How do you go about your research? And how should you assess your investment? Let's find out. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you.
So today I'd like to dive into what one needs to keep in mind when purchasing an under construction property. So I'll start with the very basics. What should I be looking at?
See, an under construction property after the RERA regime started about in 2018 is far more secure today than it was before the RERA regime.
Okay.
Because simply put, RERA is like a regulator, just like you have a SEBI as a regulator for the stock markets. RERA is the regulator for all these under construction properties in development projects being sold.
Right.
So before you sell any property, you need to be registered under RERA of that state.
Right.
And RERA has a model act which most states have adopted with a few changes here and there, and that protects the buyer, that he cannot be cheated.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons how RERA gives you that protection is it not only holds the builder responsible and liable, but he makes the builder actually upload onto the RERA platform all relevant details about the development project. Okay. So the first thing I would want to see is never buy into a project that is not RERA registered, and more importantly not RERA compliant. So initially when I want to start selling, I will upload certain information, whatever is necessary till that time, and I will become registered by RERA.
Understood.
Correct? So now I can start selling. And I advertise with that RERA number, which is very essential.
Yeah.
Then comes the fact whether I am in compliance with RERA, because every quarter I have to update it,
Okay.
with whatever is the progress.
Yes.
If I don't update it, I'm not RERA compliant anymore. Many buyers think just because there's a RERA number, is RERA registered.
Right.
And that's good enough. I don't think so.
Okay.
I feel take the RERA registration number to check on the RERA site whether it's compliant, whether they have up-to-date information. Because that gives you an idea if a project has started slacking. Though RERA gives you protection,
Right.
you still don't want to be stuck in a project that has got into a problem.
Right.
Because the protection is only a plan B. Plan A, I want the flat as per the due date.
Right.
Correct? So, I want to see whether the project is going on as promised.
Okay.
Whether sales are taking place, whether the project is working as per schedule.
Right.
Correct? So, it's very important that it is RERA compliant, and I try to understand on that RERA site everything.
Right.
If I don't understand it, again take the help of someone, a lawyer or anyone.
Right.
Because the RERA site will tell you most of the stuff about the project.
Yeah.
Whether it's got approvals, whether the title is clear, whether it's a leasehold land, whether it's a collector's land, whatever are the problems, it has to be uploaded there.
Right.
What is the status of construction, how much has been sold, whether it has been encumbered, that means whether you have taken loans from banks,
Right.
who has a charge on that. So this is very essential. This is the legal part of due diligence, even in a under construction.
Right.
Okay. The technical part is much easier in under construction because he'll give you the layout, he'll give you the blueprints, the maps. So that's far more easier
Right.
than in a secondary sale. But in a under construction, the legal part, it's very useful if you still go through that RERA site and see what is uploaded.
Okay.
That is why I do believe, and I fully agree with RERA authorities when they insist that every advertisement of the
Yes.
project should have that QR code.
Right.
And the RERA registration number.
Yeah.
The idea is that every intending buyer uses that code to go to the site and download that information
Right.
for his benefit.
So yeah, I mean, you see a lot of brokers hesitating to put up QR codes. You see sometimes, though in say a city like Mumbai, you see the QR code everywhere. But there is, when we read about article stories that maybe in smaller cities, the advertising is a bit warped. Sometimes they don't give a lot of information as opposed to what's there. Why do you think that is?
See, because look at it. What is the difference between a developing economy and a developed economy? If I think of a very developed economy, a market-driven economy, like say the US market,
Right.
and I see of a emerging market, a developing economy like India.
Mhm.
Sure, we are a large economy, we are the fourth largest. But the fact is, the difference is only on regulations, codes, the effectiveness of a court
Right.
to implement the laws. That is the real difference.
Mhm.
Because what happens in any emerging market, developing market is the idea is always that a seller who is more powerful, a developer who is more powerful, can not does not have to disclose maybe all the information, cannot have to be does not have to be transparent.
Right.
He need not be candid.
Right.
He is not forced to. He is not being implemented. He can get
Right.
away with it.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
But in a developed market, he is being forced to.
He's
He
held
will
more
be
accountable.
penalized. He will be blacklisted. Correct? It's just like when you buy something of a food, is it regulated?
Right.
Are all the contents there? Is the expiry date there? Is it well stamped? And if somebody refuses to sell it,
Right.
then you know that it has not been properly cleared. Correct? So now if you go to a small town and you see there has been no expiry date, that means somewhere it is not being regulated. No?
Right.
Why is it there?
Mhm. Yeah.
So the whole idea of any regulation is its ability to be completely fair, equitable, uniform, and all throughout.
Right.
If it is not there, you have to bring it to the notice of the authorities because somebody is trying to blindside you. Why is he blindsiding you? Because it helps him.
Mm.
You understand?
Yes.
So you should not be a fool to be blindsided.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
Like I'll give you an example. I don't know if you were thinking of talking about it, but let's say how do under construction projects advertise?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Okay, every day in the paper you'll see a full page ad.
Right.
You'll see big hoardings,
Yes.
but you'll see one thing common for most of them. 80% of them, as a rule, I can assure you, the real location of the project is never mentioned.
Right.
The neighborhood and vicinity of the project is never mentioned.
Right.
It's all fantasy driven.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Your villa in the sky,
Yeah.
39 amenities,
Right.
infinity pool. But you might not know that you're sitting next to a garbage dump or a slum.
Right.
So you're putting huge money without knowing the micro location.
Right.
Sure, you can go to the site and you should go to the site. But sometimes you are wasting your time if you know exactly where it is.
Right. So this is a problem. This is a common complaint that builders don't let you see the project site.
Correct.
Their sales
But,
office
but you don't
is
have to
somewhere
give him the
else.
money, no? Then why are you a fool to give him the money?
Well, okay, in buildings this becomes easier, but say in plotted developments,
See, I'll
that
give you an
becomes more
example,
tricky.
Neha. In any B2B,
Mhm.
business to business discussion, there is a golden rule. The one who pays the piper calls the tune. If
Understood.
I am paying you for something, I have a right to tell you what I want for that. You have a right to agree or disagree. In a B2C market, business to consumer market, the business is telling the consumer, you just give me the money, no? I'll sell you a dream.
Yeah. Yes.
You don't have to sell me a dream. Every time I sleep, I have a dream. I don't need to pay you for it. No?
Yeah. But they're
So it is in your interest then,
right.
you're the fool who is parting with your money because he is asking for it by selling you those beautiful brochure.
He's tugging at your heartstrings
Could be,
by
but why be emotional? When you're spending a crore, you don't usually become emotional. No?
right.
We don't like being cheated,
No.
even if it is 1,000 rupee, no, or 100 rupee.
Absolutely.
In
not.
principle, nobody likes being cheated.
Yes.
Correct? So it's in your interest to see the project, to figure out what is it around the neighborhood. How does it look in the morning? How does it look in the afternoon? How does it look in the evening or night? Many people have booked flats and suddenly realize that the neighborhood school, when they give off or when they're coming in, is a complete chaos on the street.
Right. Yes.
Correct?
Often overlooked. Yes.
Or in some areas, there will be hawkers who will completely jam your street. How do you do that? He's not going to tell you in his brochure what are
Right.
the cons of it. He'll tell you only the pros, no?
Yeah.
So for you to figure out the cons, or you have to be represented by a lawyer or some expert to help you do it, no? Because it's a dog eat dog world, as I told you, it's caveat emptor. So don't depend only upon a RERA registration,
Right.
because he is not supposed to upload to RERA. There's a garbage dump beside mine.
No, he's not obliged to do that.
You are supposed to go and have a look.
What kind of information can I get? Like, does it help to go to a site office, talk to the builder's team, to go to a property expo? Do these things help?
Of course. See, if somebody is buying a phone, a mobile, a car, anything, or a fridge, a TV, you all do far more research than when you buy a house. Do you know that?
Yes. Yeah.
And you do far more rational research. I have seen people who will tell me, about OLED, QLED, this way, that way. They do far more research.
Right.
You understand? But when it comes to buy a house, मेरा चाचा ने ले लिया, so it's okay. He has done the due diligence. 3 people have taken it, so I'll also join. Why? Here you're buying something for 1 lakh, there you're buying something for 1 crore, 100x.
Right.
So you do your research, then go there, talk to people, talk to the neighborhood. You'll have an idea, na?
Yes.
Most people don't even know whether they get submerged in the monsoon. So the first monsoon they get a shock
Yes.
when suddenly there's water in front of his building.
I mean, that's a pressing problem that we're seeing in cities like Bangalore, Mumbai.
Anywhere,
Yeah.
even in Gurgaon, everywhere, you understand. So I have a feeling people don't spend money, they don't spend research, they get scared. And they go with herd mentality.
Right.
अगर सब लोग ले लिए तो ठीक है ना? This can't be so wrong.
Right.
मेरा फ्रेंड चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट है, उसका दोस्त डॉक्टर है, सब लोग तो इतना ये नहीं है ना? But that's stupidity, na?
Right.
That's how people go into stock markets and all that and get scammed.
Yeah. But talking about stock markets, it's common practice. People, there's a lot of information available. Whether you read it or you don't read it, it's available. It's available in a formal manner. We seem to lack that for real estate. We have listing websites. We have websites that give you SRO data, but somewhere it's not all cohesive. It can't. One website is not able to give you all the information.
See, in stock markets also it's not cohesive. Like suppose if you go for an IPO and you read the prospectus, you will go for a toss.
Yeah.
It might be 200 pages.
Right.
Nobody does it. So what do? You look at a fund manager, you look at an equity analyst, market researcher who has done it, tells you in brief what is the pros and cons. Correct?
Yes.
That is the rise of the mutual funds.
Right.
Mutual funds are nothing but telling you that instead of you directly going into the stock market, you give it to the fund manager who is an expert who is reading the prospectus for you.
Right.
Correct? And you have to pay him his fee.
Right.
So 1%, 2%, whatever he is charging you a fee. Correct? Similarly, in real estate, whom do you pay? That's all I'm asking you all. Whom do you all pay?
Well, you don't have a similar manager.
Most people pay only a broker, maximum. And if you're buying an under construction, as you're discussing today,
Yes.
under construction, they don't even pay the broker because the broker is paid by the builder. So if the broker is paid by the builder, should he be really fighting for you or for the builder?
No, he's incentivized by the builder.
Correct? Just like in insurance, we all get scammed sometimes because the insurance agent is being paid by the insurance company. You don't pay him, no?
Right.
So naturally, he is going to be working for the insurance company, not for you. Why do you think somebody will work for you if you don't pay him? Correct? So the question comes, whom do you pay? In an under construction property, you'll figure out you'll pay nobody. And you think you're being smart. But there are no free lunches.
Right.
You have nobody, that means looking out for you.
Right.
No lawyer, no technical guy, no valuer, nothing. Or some people take the umbrage of the housing finance company. This project has been approved by so and so, so it must be good. They have done all the things. They have done it for themselves. They have enough collateral.
Right.
They have not done it for you, no?
Yes. Well, that was going to lead to my next question. That how do I check the reputation of a builder? Does it help if there is a financial institution backing
It
a
does help.
project?
That's what I said. Even if you can do it to check out through RERA and other sources, other information. There are sites. In fact, I think you have a sister concern, Prop Science or whatever it
Yes.
is, that does research on all these projects and puts up.
Yes.
I'm sure there are more sites also like that.
Yes, there are a
Correct?
few.
So they do research or get an expert. Again, I'm telling you, get an expert. Pay the guy.
Paying is the challenge in India.
That's because everybody wants free advice.
Right.
When you want free advice, you usually don't get the good advice. Remember that.
Right. I'm an NRI. How do I go about? I mean, I can't even physically verify a property, a project. How should an NRI look at research?
Let me be very clear. The higher the value of any purchase,
Mhm.
the more you need to have a touch and feel experience.
So, are you saying real estate is
So,
tough?
if I want to buy you a diamond necklace
Hmm.
and I tell you it's worth 10 lakhs, would you like to see it or buy it online?
No, I would like to see it.
You would like to touch it, feel it, figure it out, right?
Yes,
So, why do you want to buy a 1 crore house online?
because I can't physically be there.
Then don't buy it, no? Isn't it? Then don't buy it, no? Somebody is forcing you. He's put a gun to your head.
No, it's an emotional
It's
decision.
an emotional decision. Then move yourself, no, and come there and see it, no?
It's worth that flight down
It
to.
has to be.
All right.
Otherwise, you'll be fighting with your cousin who's bought it for you, and then you'll tell him that why the hell did you buy it in this place?
Yes. Yeah.
See, the question which is percolating down,
Hmm.
and I hope this stops with the new generations which are far more smarter
Hmm.
and have the knowledge, is please don't be lazy.
Right.
You don't make money or take good decisions when you're lazy.
But it's essentially the antithesis of today, right? The culture, the antithesis of the culture today, because you're saying you don't need to get out of your house for anything.
Not really.
The whole
You
idea
get on
of.
to Tinder and Bumble and you all swipe 100 times and go on 30 dates before you figure out no, who your partner should be. Correct?
Right.
So you're working, no?
You're doing your preliminary research
Whatever it is,
online.
preliminary detail, people work, no?
Yes.
They're working, they're spending that hour, no? Every date might be 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever it is.
Hmm.
So you're spending, no? So when you want to earn money, when you want to spend big bucks, why don't you want to spend that time?
Well, okay. Let's say that eventually the decision has to be made once you come to the site. But how can
Some
technology.
houses last sometimes longer than marriages, don't they? So when you buy a house, why don't you at least put in the research a little bit?
Fair enough. That's a good point. So, my closing question would be we've understood that you should finally buy a property only after physically visiting it. But we have technology today. How can technology enhance the process of research?
See, technology enhances the process of analysis, research in that way.
Right.
I have put in my remarks, I have put in an Excel worksheet, it helps me. And when I go back through technology to see the pictures, to see the videos, whether I have taken it or it's the stock ones, it helps me to recollect.
Okay.
It cannot replace your natural intelligence,
Okay.
your natural inclination.
Right.
You understand? So I always will use technology more for gathering more data
Uh-huh.
and analyzing it more thoroughly. That
Okay.
is the due diligence it helps. Where
Okay.
earlier it might have been very difficult
Hmm.
for me to have had a huge spreadsheet paper,
Right.
correct? Technology helps it in one sheet on a screen for me to look at 10 options and see where I'm going wrong.
Hmm.
But it cannot really replace your physical presence, expert advice, or your natural instinct and intelligence.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for a lovely episode.
You're welcome.
That's a wrap for this week's episode of PropSutra. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do share your thoughts and feedback in the comment section below. Let us know if there's something that you'd like to hear. We'd be happy to take it up in the next topic. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon for regular notifications. Until next time, thank you.